Awesome. So we're going to let a few more people hop on, but welcome guys. Welcome to Wholesale Hotline pre-show. If this is your guys' first time tuning in, my name is Bryce Herrera, and we talk all things driving for dollars. That question comes up all the time. How do I get my first deal? Well, this is going to be one way for you guys to, get started, get your foot in the door in regards to real estate. So typically today, or every Monday, what we typically do is we bring on someone else that's had, success using the BatchDriven app. Okay, so BatchDriven app is a way for you guys to drive for dollars. You guys create a custom and niche list. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to be cold calling some sellers from our driving for dollars list from today. So I'm super excited to have you guys on. This is going to be, just a pre-show. It's going to be about 30 minutes. So today we have about 6 different properties that we actually added. We went to South Phoenix, we took pictures of these properties, and then we are going to skip trace them and cold call them. Okay. And we also, guys, are going to be we're going to go over the cold calling script, kind of what you guys need to be saying to these people. So hopefully we can help you guys get your first deal, right? That's what we're about. We're about the abundance mindset. So hopefully we're going to be able to get some sellers today. But we only have about 6 properties in 30 minutes. So I'm going to show you guys what you guys need to be doing if you're driving for dollars. And I think this is a great way for all of you guys to get started. Okay, so in the comment section, drop where your comments are. Let me know who hasn't done a deal yet, because that's who we're looking to target. We're trying to help as many people get their first deal as possible. So then maybe you can upgrade from, driving for dollars physically or virtually. And then you can start hiring virtual assistants. You can start delegating these tasks out. Okay, so we're going to play a little game today. It's going to be about 6 different properties. We're going to actually show you them on the BatchDriven app. I'm going to show you guys how truly easy it is for you to skip trace or get these people information, and then we're going to give them a call. Okay, so thank you guys so much for hopping on. Brandon Mitchell says TTP, let's go. Anthony says can't wait. Awesome. Kyle Scott, he is local here in Phoenix, Arizona. He went on a ride along with me last week, and we ended up adding 25 properties to my driving for dollars folder and 25 properties to him. So if you're in Phoenix, make sure you squad up with Kyle Scott. He's awesome, and he's trying to get his first deal as well. So that's why he's resorting back to driving for dollars. Justin, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you. Awesome. What's going on? The GOAT. Awesome. Kevin says, hi, Bryce. Kevin's another sub-2 student in Las Vegas. So make sure if you're in Las Vegas, you're squatting up with Kevin. Kevin's awesome. We went door knocking the other weekend, got some callbacks, actually turned a lead into a private money lender. Okay. So go out there, take action. Thank you, Kevin. TTP. John says, what's up, bro? I appreciate you, John. Thank you for hopping on today. But I think we're just going to get into it, guys. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you one of the properties that we're actually going to try to call. So let me share my screen. And what we're going to do is I'm actually going to show you the picture that we took today. And this is going to be house number 1. Okay, so this is house number 1. You can see this one is going to need a lot of work, and it actually is vacant. It's going to need some landscape. You can see that there's some plywood on the roof. So that's what caught our eye. There's a tarp on the backside. This is a property that we want to add to our driving for dollars list. We're going to skip trace it. We're going to give them a call. Okay, so this is the first house that we're going to be calling today. And then just to show you guys, a lot of you guys talk about driving for dollars virtually. So I'm going to show you what it looks like from the BatchDriven app and how easy it is for you to skip trace. So that's going to be house number 1. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and go onto the BatchDriven app. Let me share my screen real quick. Got it. So this is the BatchDriven app. This is what we use to create our custom and niche list to start cold calling or SMS. You guys can even send mail campaigns right from this property. Okay, so this is going to be property number 1. You can see that this was taken in April 2019. Okay, so there's no hole in the roof. There's clearly people here. That's why I like to get out and physically drive for dollars. Okay, so all we're going to do is we are going to skip trace this property, and I'm going to show you how easy it truly is. So all we're going to do is we're going to add this property to our folder. Every Monday, I create a new folder. Mine's labeled by the week. So Bryce driving for dollars, 329 4-4. So we are going to add it to this folder. So you can see here, it's already created there. And then we're going to skip trace. So normally I would say skip trace, but just for the privacy of, this person, I don't want to have their phone number for all of you guys, because I know some of you might reach out and try cold calling them as well. But that's what we're going to do. So you just hit skip trace literally at the bottom. You skip trace, and it's going to pull up a list of phone numbers. Okay. So when it comes to cold calling these, you just want to be cold calling the first 3 phone numbers. Okay. Those are typically going to be the most accurate. You can see here the owner is actually under a trust. Okay. So it did pull that up. Batch does allow you to skip trace LLCs. Okay. So now that I have the phone numbers, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to give them a call. Okay, now all I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to go to my Google phone, whatever you guys have. And this is kind of the nitty gritty. You can also export this list and plug it into a power dialer if your budget allows for it. But I feel like a lot of people are just starting out. So this is actually the way that I went to get my first deal, is I actually hand dialed every single phone number. Okay, so I'm going to call this one. The first one's a landline, and then the next 2 are mobile phone numbers. Okay, so 623. Okay, so I have the first phone number pulled up, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to resort back to my cold calling script, right? We're just trying to uncover the 4 pillars, and we're going to see if this person is, open to a cash offer, and then we're going to further vet it from there. Okay, so just have my cold calling script. Reach out to me if you guys need one. If you guys need a cold calling script, you can message me on Instagram. My handle is @BatchDrivenApp. So if you want a free cold calling script, you guys can see it there. It's just going to uncover the 4 pillars, which is what we're trying to do right now. So we're going to give them a call and see if it comes back.
The number you have dialed is not in service. Please check the number and dial again.
Okay, so that one came back negative. So what we're going to do is go down the list, right? This is what we're talking about, how it's not as easy as, it's pretty straightforward. It just requires a lot of hard work. So first one came back negative. So I'm going to make a note of that. First one did not come back. So we're going to try phone number 2. Okay, and we are trying to, perfect. Okay, so here's number 2, phone number 2.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 602.
Okay, that one went straight to voicemail. I recommend not even leaving voicemails. A lot of times, some of the dialers will actually have you have a pre-ordered voicemail, so that it'll just dump it into their phone number. But for the purpose of this, I'm not going to leave a voicemail, but we're going to try phone number 3. And this is what I did every single day to get my first deal, is I would actually call all 3 numbers. If none of those 3 phone numbers actually answered, I would send them a text individually. So it took me quite a while to get my my first deal, but I got it done. So 602. This is going to be phone number 3.
The number you have dialed is not in service. Please check the number and dial again.
Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear this, but that was number 3, and that came back negative. So I'm just going to move on to the next one. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you the next house that we're actually going to try to contact. So I'm going to share my screen again. And I'm going to show you one of the real life photos that we took, and then we'll compare it to BatchDriven. Okay, so this was number 1, no answer. So this is number 2. You can see that there's going to be, a bunch of trash. There's going to be a bunch of junk in here. You can see the AC unit is starting to rust, the roof. Roof has seen better days. So that one's going to hit some of our pillars, and that's going to be someone that we want to see if they would be open to a cash offer. Okay, so I'm actually going to stop sharing. That's the next property that we're going to try to contact. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to go back to BatchDriven. Now I'm going to share my screen on there. Okay, so here is number one. Now we're going to go back and we're going to plug in the address. Okay, so number two is 1240. And we are driving for dollars in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to drop the little peg man down. And this is going to give us our Google Street View. Okay, and it's actually this one right here towards the left. So you can see that the date is actually changed to December 2020. So another way for you guys to validate if you want to do this virtually is you're just going to click on the house, and usually it's going to say a sale date. So if it said sale date 2021, that's probably a property that I'm not going to add to my driving for dollars list, because chances are someone already got to that property. But all we're going to do is we're going to add property. We're going to add it to our desired folder. We're going to go down. We're going to skip trace. Okay, so this one came back, information not found. So we're going to go to number 3. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We're going to go to number 3, and we're going to plug that one in. So number 3 came back negative, or number 2 came back negative. So now number 3, we're going to call. Okay, so this is going to be the next property.
Call them.
Yes, sir.
Are you gonna call the seller or what?
Yeah, we are.
Let's call him. Let's get that deal. I want to buy a deal today. Let's go.
Okay, so I will skip trace then.
Love it. Guys, encourage this man to call sellers. You guys want to see this guy closing sellers. He's closed deals before, multiple deals, actually sub 2 cash flowing deals and cash deals. This guy's the freaking man. Encourage this man to call the sellers. Now, I just closed a deal in West Palm Beach, bro. A nice little duplex. And just put the closing line on my Instagram if anybody wants to go see it. But Bryce, you're crushing it, dude. Good to see you on here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Pace. How did that seller appointment go? I think it was Saturday or Friday.
It was such a good appointment. Such a good appointment. The challenge is it's so interesting. So she inherited the property from someone who passed away. And then the person she inherited the property 50% with her brother, who also owns the property 50%, and he passed away.
Oh, wow.
So we got like all sorts of hairy situations. So we're going to get our attorney involved, and it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be a fun one. Let's skip trace and call these sellers. Let's go. Come on.
Here we go. So here's number 1. We're going to see if it comes back.
Booyah.
Hello?
Hi, Jose.
Yeah, this weekend.
Hey, Jose, this is Bryce. How you doing?
Good.
Good, man. Hey, I was just giving you a call about your property on 5427 South 14th Way.
Mm-hmm.
I was just giving you a call to see if you've considered selling.
No. I just paid the house off a couple months ago.
Okay, you just paid it off?
Yeah.
Got it. Cool, man. Well, hey, while I have you on the phone, do you have any other properties you're looking to get rid of?
No.
Got it.
I'll just keep it up. All right.
Cool, man. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bryce, I love that you asked that follow-up question. Great job. That was awesome.
Yeah, you never know. I know that's happened to a few times with, I think, Nick's, talked to some sellers that weren't interested, and he had that follow-up question, and it's led to a few deals. So definitely ask.
Well, that's actually the deal that I closed this morning. I was on the phone with a seller, and I actually just put a clip of it on my Instagram. Seller has 3 properties she wants to sell. One of them is her primary residence. It's like $1.3 million. She's willing to sell it on seller finance. But I was like, dude, I really don't want a $1.3 million property unless it's like a killer Airbnb spot, right? So we ask her, I go, what else do you have? And she's like, oh, I got a lot. And I go, will you seller finance those? Oh yeah, I'll seller finance every single one of them. So we locked up a duplex right on the ocean in Florida from just asking the same question you just asked right there.
Yeah, I was actually driving for dollars around the office on Lemon. And there was one property that we wanted to skip trace. So I skip trace, and it wasn't the actual owner. It was, they were related to each other. And I said, hey, do you have any other properties? And he has like 7 other properties in Texas that he's thinking about selling in a few months, just by asking that one question.
Love that, dude. So while we're on the topic of calling sellers real quick, do you mind if I ask you, let's come up with the audience real quick. What are like 5 or 6 opening lines that you can say to a seller when you're calling them the first time? Let's come up with a little list for everybody.
Okay. So the one that I always use is I'll make sure that I'm calling the right person, and I'll make it in a way to where I know that I'm calling the right person. So I'm like, hey, Pace. And then it's either a yes or a no. That just allows me to have, the confidence going in. So I'll say like, hey, Pace, this is Bryce. How you doing? So that's one opening line that I like to say, hey, Bryce, how you doing? Or hey, Pace, how you doing?
Dude, and it worked really well. The guy was like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like he almost was expecting that he was supposed to know you. You did a great job. That's like one of the just a classic line. Very clean, very simple. Zachary Hamilton says, Bryce's precious little face making the calls. Been wanting to know your style. Now it's time to see the man in action. Get it.
Yeah, we actually just got hooked up to the dialer, so we're going to start calling that list. So
love it. So that's a good line. Let's come up with a couple other ones. Yours worked really well, and I think that's like a very classic line you can use. Is just, hey Jose, hey, is this Jose? Or hey Jose, this is Bryce. How you doing? And people overthink it, but it can just go right down to the simple bare necessities of talking to a human being, right? You don't need to say, hey, I'm an investor and I'm a this, that, and the other. Blah, blah, blah. You don't have to say all that stuff. It just actually overcomplicates it, right? Now, if a seller says to you, I think that's like the classic line, but if a seller says to you something like, hey, why are you calling? A line I like to follow up with is I say something like, hey, I actually represent a buyer looking to buy a property just like yours. And we drove by it today, saw some roof damage, just maybe thinking you got tenants in there not taking care of the house. Are you interested in selling? Now, the challenge with saying that is that sometimes you could, like a Jose can be like, dude, no, I live in the freaking house, man. Yeah. I live in the house. Stop talking crap on my house, right? So sometimes just keeping it simple, sweet, talking less. I have this great seller call I was just on earlier today, the duplex that I closed in Florida. And I was replaying it because I was pulling out this couple of my closing lines, and I was pulling clips out of the thing. And there's a guy standing next to me as I'm rewatching these clips. And he's like, dude, you hardly ever talk on the phone. And I was like, yeah, because you want to just keep it simple. You want to put all the talking on them. And what most people think is that you're filling dead space and you're trying to fill everything in. You did a great job of just showing how simple this truly really is.
Right. And if you do that over and over again, you're eventually going to find, that one motivated seller. But there's no need for you guys to overcomplicate it. The acronym KISS, keep it super simple, or keep it simple, stupid. So that's huge. That's kind of what it boils down to is
or TTP.
Or TTP, talk to people. This whole entire business, raising capital, closing deals, working with buyers, comes down to one acronym, and it is TTP. 1,000%.
The more people you talk to, the luckier you will be. That is an absolute fact.
I don't believe it.
That's it. All right, do your thing.
It really is. It really comes down to just that. So the first line, people overthink it, and you crushed that, dude. Like, so simple. The thing is, people are so fearful of just taking that first step. And that's why I wanted to jump in here, is because I'm like, dude, if you can just get that down to the point where that's just like second nature and you don't care about what the outcome is, the more you do that, the more money you make. So What's another line? Let's talk about some simple lines. Kyle Scott says, I'm close to locking up a lot of land, all thanks to BatchDriven. That's right, Kyle Scott. Thank you, bro. So guys, anybody that is looking to start driving for dollars, BatchDriven is the best app for that. BatchDriven.com/squad up. All right. So if you guys are looking to start driving for dollars, every single day, Bryce is live giving live support to the BatchDriven customers. So you guys can actually see him in the field. He'll chat with you. He'll show you how to use the app every single day. BatchDriven.com/squad up. Gabe says, hey, Pace, on your JV agreement form, it says allocation of expenses. Can you explain? So, Gabe, what if we do a JV and I actually have to spend money on something, but you don't spend money? We got to kind of make sure that we settle up on that a little bit later, right? Ooh, look, Laksha Ventures. I recently purchased a rental property and I like this neighborhood, looking to buy one more property. Love that one. That is a great line. Hey, that's a good line. Another really good line similar to that is this. And Bryce, you might want to write that one down. That's a great one just for future when other people, you have your own flavor, but when somebody in the BatchDriven audience asks you, like, what are some lines, you want to throw out a bunch of lines and say, these are what some of our other users are using. Even though Bryce, you specifically might not use, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just matters what is something that resonates with you that actually you have a good time utilizing. So 1 was yours, 2 was Laksha, and then 3 would be this. This one is very accurate for us. We say something like, hey, we're doing a fix and flip project a couple of streets over. We're looking for another project in the neighborhood, wondering if you'd be willing to sell your house, or wondering if you're open to selling your house. So either A, we bought a rental property in this neighborhood, I like it, or hey, we're doing a renovation project in this neighborhood, looking for another project so we don't have to move our crews too far. Would you be open to selling your house? Okay, one of those 3 is going to get somebody to go, oh, okay, yeah. But if you're like, hey, I'm a cash investor and I can close in 10 days, maybe 7, and I pay all cash, no inspection, blip, blip, blip. Dude, everybody says that. Okay, so get over that. With Dawind says, how do I learn about BatchDriven? So I would go to batchdriven.com/squad up. And so what Bryce's full-time job is, everybody, we got 207 people on here that were just starting out. The main show starts in 6 minutes. So appreciate you guys showing up early for the warm-up show. How do I learn about BatchDriven? That's freaking Bryce's full-time job, is to show you real life in the field all day long how to use the app. So go to batchdriven.com/squad up, sign up for a free trial. And then secondly, follow Bryce on BatchDriven app on Instagram, and you guys can DM him your questions. You guys can basically challenge each other back and forth, but go follow him on Instagram at BatchDriven app. Bryce, you might want to type that into the bottom. There you go. You already did it. Love it. Or maybe Brent's doing it. But go follow him on batchdrivenapp.com or BatchDriven app on Instagram. You go to batchdriven.com/squad up to actually start doing this. And you see multiple people doing multiple deals. We did a deal. Actually, the first deal you ever sold us, Bryce, how much money did you make on that from BatchDriven?
I made 10,000, but it was cool because I was able to, joint venture with you, and I was able to be a part of the process. So I was able to learn how to negotiate with sellers. I was able to find out, a title company that I could use in the future. So I made $10,000 on my first assignment. And to answer Jerry's question, I believe he posted this. He says, I don't understand which package to get with BatchDriven. Jerry, I did this with the base plan. It's $49. That's how I got my first deal. Was nothing fancy. I just took action and stayed consistent.
Booyah. I love it. I would say actually, if you're in your free trial, the cool thing is the free trial lets you have like the premium plan. So here's what I would do. I would do my free trial with the premium plan. Then when your free trial is up, if you don't need everything in the premium, you can downgrade and they'll only charge you for that. So I would do that. It gives you tons of more stuff. Like it gives you all the foreclosures, gives you the tax delinquents, gives you the vacants, all that kind of stuff. So super sick. Now, Outcast, which as you can see, Outcast is right behind me. Why should I switch if I'm already using PropStream? There's nothing wrong with PropStream. It's just that we like the way that batch-driven, batch leads, and everything else integrates. It's all coming underneath one umbrella, and it just makes your life easy, and you can start getting rid of individual subscriptions. But PropStream's great. Nothing against PropStream. Use whatever you want. The difference is nobody at PropStream is actually doing real estate deals. Nothing against PropStream. They're amazing. The owner's awesome. The people running it are awesome. But what's cool about BatchDriven is you have live people actually out in the field doing deals. And for me personally, if you guys saw my Instagram post this morning, I'm training my daughter on how to pee in the toilet. So the smartest thing to do is for me to sit in front of her, sitting down, peeing myself, and she can watch her dad peeing in the toilet over and over and over until it finally sinks in. So I'm the kind of person that I'm monkey see, monkey do. So if you're trying to learn real estate and you're a monkey see, monkey do type of person, batchdriven.com/squad up is the best place to go, because Bryce is actually in the field all day long doing deals. And here you go. Kyle Scott says it right here. He says BatchDriven has the best customer support, the best. And so there's one of the biggest reasons right there.
Yeah.
Natalie Taryn says, how much should you spend on leads to get your, I would assume she says, get your first deal? If you're doing driving for dollars with BatchDriven, typically your total cost for your first deal is a couple $100. Okay. It's the lowest cost of getting into this business is using BatchDriven. So batchdriven.com/squad up. And you can see right here, Laksha says, BatchDriven is awesome. Guys, if you're looking for a sub-2 property in suburbs of Philly, I can help you find one. Laksha, I wish I was looking in Philly. It's a little too cold for me, but I am buying sub-2 deals all over the place. Christine Morales. Actually, Outcast says, I know it was a tough question. Appreciate the response. I've been going from PropStream to Batch Skip, so I may merge the two. So that's the main reason that people just ultimately switch over to Batch, is because Batch has everything. They have a dialer. They have a driving for dollars app. They have skip tracing. They have text blasting. So they have everything all inclusive. And now that Batch can text, just make sure you guys use Squad Up as your code and you'll get a discount on all of that kind of stuff. Zachary Hamilton, thank you so much. Says, I will vouch on that. Talk to customer support a lot. Thank you guys so much. Colby Sherwood, a pee story, says, just got my daughter to pee in the toilet. Hardest thing I've done teaching toilet is the real hurdle. So for me, we just learned, every time I go pee, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to say, hey, come sit down and pee with daddy. So she just knows it's the thing, right? So Zach Owens says, Pace, I'm in Alabama. Do you do any deals here? No, I don't do any deals there, but I have a ton of students crushing it. And I have multiple mastermind people that I'm in masterminds with are doing deals in Alabama. DM me on Instagram and I will help you out. Guys, that concludes the warm-up show. Give Bryce a freaking warm thank you and go follow this homeboy on Instagram, BatchDriven app, at BatchDriven app, APP. And we're going to get the show started. Thank you, Bryce.
Thank you.
You're the man.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember, when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Here we go. Wholesale hotline number 58. We are just waiting for Jamil, but next to me is the incredible, the creative Mr. Pace. I almost called you Miss because you've been sitting down on that toilet so much.
I know.
Mr.
I do sit down to pee, so that is an interesting fact.
Mr. Pace Morby. But phenomenal show. Over the next 90 minutes, Pace is going to give you his hygiene regimen, and it's going to be phenomenal. Over the next 90 minutes, we're here to answer your wholesale real estate questions. This show only happens, this only flows really great if you are participating. Not only participating with your questions in the comments section, but also with each other. Make sure that you're making connections. Make sure that you're letting people know where you're at, where you live, what markets you're going after, and what your passions are and where you're at in this process. Because honestly, right, some of us are starting day one and some of us have been doing tons and tons and tons of deals and have a ton of experience. So you need to squad up with those people. let's rock and roll. Do you mind if I open this thing up with a good quote?
Please do.
So this is from, and Pace, this is great because we're here in Arizona, right? The unbelievable Sandra Day O'Connor, right? The first female Supreme Court justice in the United States in 1981. She came out guns blazing, changed so much, an incredible, incredible woman. It was her birthday on Friday. So she's 91 years old, but she put the absolute best squad up quote of all time that I've read. And it starts like this: we don't accomplish anything in this world alone. And whatever happens is the result of the whole tapestry of one's life and all the weavings of individual threads from one to another that create something. And I think that that's so beautiful. And it's all about, we don't accomplish anything in this world alone. And it's the absolute truth. Anybody out there that's being stubborn, anybody out there that thinks, you know what, I'm going to put all of the pressure and all of the challenges on my back alone, and I'm going to go at it. You don't have to. That's not the smartest path. The smartest path is to squad up with incredible people. You can find them here in this group. Also in our Facebook group, the Wholesale Hotline Facebook group. Make sure you join that. But what do you think, Pace?
Bro,
squatting up
is huge. I bought a deal today. It's one of the main reasons why I started a mentorship program. I know same thing with you, is that you can do deals with your students and trade things back and forth like Pokemon cards. I get a text message from one of my students yesterday, April Giuliano, who, by the way, we have to have her as a guest on the show. Check this out. She was homeless a year ago. Homeless. She lost her business. It was a horrible situation. So her husband, Mark, and their kids went and lived inside of somebody else's home at her church. She started TTPing inside her garage a year ago. So she would go in the garage because obviously she's a guest in somebody else's home. And she's like, I need to make this work, right? So here she is a year later, has done more deals than I can count just because she took the TTP program. She learned how to talk to people. And then she took the sub 2 program, and now she's crushing even on the creative finance stuff. She's got one deal right now. Last year, she probably made close to $1 million. One deal right now she's working on that's going to make her $550,000. Then she calls me yesterday, or she texted me yesterday. It's Sunday, right? She's like, hey, Pace, I've got a seller. She's got 20 plus properties. She'll seller finance everything. Can you help me get on the phone? Yeah. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing, like figuring out how we together can all create this amazing community that we can trade and include each other on deals where there's so many more deals to be had when we all just work together, right? It's not like there's a finite amount of deals. Now, when I first met Brent Daniels years ago, I go into his office with my wife and I go, Brent.
And she's like 15 months pregnant.
Yeah. She's like 15 months pregnant. We're there in Brent's old office, which is...
You couldn't afford to have the baby because you're going through that big deal with Voldemort.
Oh, of course.
She was holding it in until you could get the thing going again. She's 17 months pregnant, ready to go.
I go, hey man, like I'm doing a lot of deals wholesale wise, but like, do you feel like we're going to run out of deals in the market? And you were like, wait, ask that question again. Like, what are you talking about? Like there's an infinite amount of deals, and it's up to us to work together, squad up with each other to get those things done.
It's the truth. There's a conveyor belt. I mean, listen, in any town across the United States, you can drive in and find neighborhoods that are getting renovated. You can find neighborhoods that need some love. You can find older neighborhoods that, they were owned by the generation before, the generation that is now passing those on to the younger generation, and that's been the cycle of life forever, right? So, I mean, it's just absolutely incredible to me for anybody to say that there's not enough deals or there's no opportunities or only the big guys that have the biggest marketing are going to be able to get those deals. And it's absolutely false. And we prove it time and time again. I mean, Pace, you and I, we put our family members, the people in our mentorship on a pedestal and say, look, right here, this is it. This is just somebody telling you the story that they never done a deal before. Now they're doing deals. And it's because of these steps that they're taking right now. And I think that that's important. There is a formula. There is a blueprint. And if you follow it, you're going to win. And part of that blueprint is squatting up with incredible people like Pace and I have done, like Pace Jamil and I have done with each other, with Steve Trang, with some of these incredible, the whole batch team, Jesse, Annie, Evo. I mean, everybody. We have an unbelievable group here in Phoenix with Cody and with everybody, Josiah and everybody. It's just absolutely incredible. And we wouldn't be where we're at without each other and sharing and celebrating and cheerleading each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, 100%. Now, the topic of the day today, and Jamil's going to be a little bit late. Him and I are going to Tampa. Actually, I'm going to Tampa with you, TTP. Are you flying out tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Cool. So I'm flying out tomorrow as well. Jamil, it kind of popped up on Jamil and I. We're like, oh my gosh, we've been working on a couple of things on the side. And I was like, dude, we're leaving tomorrow. He's like, crap. So he has to go and run an errand before he comes on the show. So he's going to be a little bit late, which is perfectly fine. Now, the question of the day and the topic of this wholesale hotline is, how do I go get my first deal with $500 or less? And it's a common question. It's going to come up over and over and over. And in fact, last week, we actually talked about it from, if you don't have any money, what would you do? We both kind of went a little bit more guerrilla tactics on it. But if you had $500 to spend, how would you go get your first deal? Now, here's what I think we add to this. I think we add that the fact most of our audience, most of the people listening and watching Wholesale Hotline are people who do have 9-to-5 jobs, right? So we can't just they can't just go knock doors all day long, right? So there's certain things that we're not going to be able to give them as strategies and tactics that I can do now at my level, where I can just literally go, all right, guys, just send me people to talk to. Because I'm at a level now, same thing with you, Brent. If you turned everything else off, I could just go sit on I could go to Dairy Queen in any local market, open my laptop, make a couple of Instagram posts and Facebook posts and go, hey guys, I'm open for business. Send me opportunities. I'll call and close your sellers, right? I could have an infinite amount of deals that I could close. Not even a problem. Now, we've both scaled our business. We both have deals going on that we're not necessarily involved in. So we've got to change the way we think. We got to go all the way back down to, if I had to start all over with only $500, what would I do? Thinking about the audience and what they are currently going through. Maybe they're married, 4 kids, they've got a 9-to-5, maybe they work half day Saturday. What would be that answer? What are the ways that we can get these people to get their first deal?
I love it. And, off the bat, it all comes down to, if you've got a budget that's $1,000 or under, $500, as the title says, you need to make sure that you trim all the fat and you're getting only the important things, right? You don't need a CRM. All right. You don't need to go in and get a CRM right away and start tinkering away and be distracted with that. Basically, all you need to do is you need to figure out, with that $500, how do I have the most quality conversations with the ugly houses in my down the street, in my area, wherever. Well, and listen, this doesn't even have to, we'll get into virtual in a bit because I don't want to get too confusing and go all over the place. But very simply, what I would do with a $500 budget is most of that would be getting accurate phone numbers. So skip tracing those ugly houses. Skip tracing is just a service that you upload the addresses to the properties that you want to get the phone numbers, and they give you back the phone numbers. And we really talk, and you talked about it on the warm-up show, batch skip tracing. Guys, listen, batch skip tracing pulls from 4 different areas, 5 different sometimes, depends on the market. It's not just somebody white labeling IDI information or information from somebody else. This is real legitimate. If I can tell you, if you pull one thing from this hotline today, it would be get really good data. Because if you pay 2 cents for some other data, it's going to be bad, and you're not going to talk to anybody, and you're going to go through a lot of brain damage, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is such a waste of time. That'd be number 1. Number 2 tool I would get is definitely a dialer. I would get the dialer. Batch Dialer has a phenomenal one. Those are the 2 things that I would spend the money on. Because listen, if I can get a bunch of addresses and get their accurate phone numbers, and I don't have to just hand dial them, I'm going to get a deal. I'm going to find a deal because I'm going to talk to enough people where the opportunities just start popping up.
Okay. So let me rehash that real quick. So what you're saying is I've got $500. I'm going to go get a dialer. Batch has a dialer. What is there, like a coupon code that I can use it for Batch Dialer? Squad up.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So
100%.
Guys, we're on a $500 budget. So you got to be very careful about your budget. Use the discount code that we give you. We're friends with all these people that run these software companies, so they'll give you a discount. So Batch Dialer, why would I need a dialer? Like, why can't I just call from my cell phone? What's the importance of a dialer?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like right when you start dialing, right? It takes you time, and then you got to listen to the ringing, and then it's got to pick up, or it goes to a voicemail or whatever else. With a dialer, it skips all that. You press a button and it dials it for you. It's the technology. I mean, this is 2021, but dialers have been around forever. You're going to talk to more people. You should be shooting to talk to about 15 people an hour the first time that you call through your list. And if you try to do that hand dialing, you might talk to 3. You know what I mean? Like you have to call a lot of people for them to answer and have a good conversation. So what would I rather do? Talk to 15 people an hour or 3? And the issue with talking to 3 people an hour is you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not talking to enough people to build up enough of a pipeline of leads. I'm just not able to communicate with enough people and start to pre-qualify them. So that would be the first thing. I would get a list. I would skip trace them, and I would put it in a dialer. And if you just don't want to do any of that and save the $500, just go out into ugly houses and knock on their doors and say, I know this is weird, but I wanted to see if you would consider an offer on your property here. Well, we're the tenants. Well, we're not thinking about selling. Okay, great. Well, do you have any other properties you would consider selling? That's how you start. This is how people start.
So an interesting comment right here on the screen, Rylas Dana, who is a probate attorney. He's actually in the middle of a wholesale transaction right now. I did a swipe up thing on my Instagram. I was like, hey, anybody want my wholesale contract? Here you go. And Brent, guys, if you want a wholesale contract, an assignment contract, you can go to talktopeople.com, TTP, talktopeople.com, or you can go to pacemorby.com. I'm not really known as the wholesale guy, but I do have a wholesale contract on there that was written by an attorney if you guys do care. Now, Rylas Dana downloads my contract, goes and gets his first wholesale deal done, and he's assigning that deal right now. Says that he just reviewed the HUD, will be closing next week using those free contracts. So that's why Brent Daniels gives out these free contracts, is so that you guys don't have to go and spend oodles and boodles of money hiring an attorney to go write these. Now, look through them, make sure that you guys are happy with them. Maybe there's some terminology or things in there, like whatever. But if an attorney just is closing his first wholesale deal with using the same contracts, then freaking know that these are decent contracts. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, if you've got a $500 budget, you don't want to be spending money going and having an attorney draft the documents. So here you go. Here's a $1,500 or $2,500 cost to write these contracts to you guys for free. So go to talktopeople.com or pacemorby.com to get whatever contracts and access to things you want. Talk to People has way more tools. Just FYI, his website is like, mine is kind of like a 1994 Honda Civic. His is like a 2023 Bentley. Okay. Like that shit's futuristic. That like the cool stuff hasn't even come out yet. Okay. So talktopeople.com is amazing. Now, good job, Rylas. I want to bring up the main reason for a dialer, right? Just to hammer on this. Because if you have limited amount of time, time is money. You don't want to be single dialing people because you're going to run out of steam.
Yep.
A dialer puts you in a situation where primarily you don't have to punch the numbers. You don't have to mess with any of that stuff. It just fills the pipeline, and it will dial 3 people at the same time, guys. And one of our dialers, I think Batch does this, it will dial 10 people at the same freaking time. And whoever answers first, the other 9 go back into the queue to be called again.
Yep.
That is why you have a dialer. You have a dialer to save yourself time and to put yourself in a situation where you are simply doing the most popular acronym of all time, talk to people. Now, I'm going to let Brent keep going on this for a minute, but I want to point out to you guys that we've got about 350 people watching live between a couple of YouTube channels. Do us a favor. Press like, press subscribe if you haven't already. I imagine if you're watching on the YouTube channels, you have already subscribed, but do us the biggest honor and please compliment us by sharing that right now or tagging people on Instagram. And let's get this up to 400 to 450 people watching live tonight, because a lot of people need to know this. They need to know, how do I go get a deal? I just saw somebody in the comments saying, if somebody just handheld me for $10,000, no matter how much I made on it, would that be enough money? Bro, you're on a free Wholesale Hotline podcast where we're teaching you how to go do this for $500 or less. Okay, Kevin R. And that just shows me people are desperate for their first deal. If you guys are desperate for your first deal, please blow up the comments and let's highlight the people.
Kevin, where do you live? Where does Kevin live? Kevin, tell
Kevin,
everybody where you live. Find somebody. I mean, we have incredible people around the country that would, if you're Kevin, if you're out there, here's the thing. And it's kind of that, it kind of reminds me of, that's Sandra Day O'Connor. Honestly, I was reading through and I was like, oh, geez, man, this woman was like on fire. She was hungry, man. Oh, she was hungry for equality. She was hungry for women's rights. She was hungry for making a change. She was hungry for education in school. She was hungry for all these things. It's the hunger. It is the hunger that you have to have. If you are hungry and you're out there and you are being proactive, whether you're door knocking, Brent, I don't want to make cold calls. I don't like it. Then go knock on doors. Go knock on doors. Put handwritten notes out. I mean, do something that is showing that you are going out there to provide opportunities. And I'm telling you, when you have a hungry person, you know this, Pace. When you have a hungry person, when you're around a hungry person, they're like a magnet. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, okay, wait a second. And they start asking questions and they're digging to the deep and they're getting into it. And they're not just passively sitting by and just like being inspired. They're like, okay, I got it. Just let me loose, right? That hunger is way more important than the experience and the understanding and going through all these processes. I mean, just find somebody. Just find somebody in this group, let everybody know where you're at and show that you're hungry. Anybody out there, if you show that you're hungry and you're around enough people that are doing this business, you're going to get picked up and you're going to be supported and people are going to love you. Just like I love this man that's about to pop on here, Mr. Jamil. There he is.
Hey guys, how are you?
Wow, we got the hat today?
Yeah, I got hat head.
I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel about this.
You got a hat too.
Well, I know I always have a hat though. I actually was on the RJ Bates show earlier today and my team sent him a headshot of me that did not have a hat. And RJ's like, no, I need a headshot of Pace.
Yeah. That one with you in a suit?
Yeah, it's like me in a blazer. It's like, okay, I don't need church going Pace. I need Pace.
The other thing, and this is really interesting here, just real quick to touch what you were talking about, Pace, is this question by Kev here about, remember this. Your contract is going to be reviewed by a closing attorney or a title company, all right? A title company that has attorneys on staff. We've said it a couple dozen times on the show, but if you're new to it, go talk to those closing attorneys that are specialized in wholesale deals. Go talk to those escrow companies that specialize in wholesale deals or off-market properties or flips or double closes or double escrows or whatever it is, and get them to send you an example of the contract that they like using, or turn in the contract and say, what am I missing here that I need? Is there anything here? You understand the price, you understand the terms. Is there am I missing something? Do you want me to add language to this? And that's how you develop your contracts. You know what I mean? So just don't, if a receptionist is, kind of blocking you and saying you need, an attorney, of course they're going to say that. They're an attorney. They're the receptionist of an attorney. You know what I mean? So you can get it by squatting up and meeting with somebody in your market, just having them send you the contract. You can download it at talktopeople.com, and you can go and get it at your escrow and title company and or your closing attorney. So that should never be the excuse. That should never paperwork. Paperwork's going to be your excuse. You've got somebody that wants to sell you a house that's worth $270,000 for $145,000, and you're not going to go close that deal because you're nervous about the paperwork. I mean, you've got protection. That's what the escrow and title company are for, and what the closing attorney's for. Get out there. Don't let that stop you. That's an excuse, and it's a hurdle that you don't need. Just push that hurdle to the side and keep running down.
Yeah, let me tell you a quick story about that. Actually pertains to Brent Daniels, TTP. So probably a year and a half ago, Alejandra on Brent Daniels' team calls me up. She goes, hey, we have this kind of interesting seller. He wants to sell, but there's no equity. What should we do? I'm like, well, sub 2. And she's like, well, duh, that's why I'm calling you. What should we do? We want to go on the appointment together? I go, hell yeah, let's go down there. So we drive down, 45-minute drive. We both drive separately. And then we meet at a McDonald's with the seller and his wife, Alejandra, and myself sitting in a McDonald's booth. It's amazing how many freaking real estate things that have happened. That's where Cody Barton and I originally linked up as partners, was in a freaking McDonald's. Okay. So we get through there, we get all the way to contract. And then the seller's like, yeah, let's go. Let's get it done. I go, perfect. Let me get out to my car and I'll get a copy of a contract. So you guys already know where I'm going with this. I don't have a copy of a contract. And I go to Alejandra, I go, but you got a copy of a contract, right? She goes, yep. No, I don't. So what did I do?
Right on the back.
I went to McDonald's and I said, do you guys have a blank piece of paper and a Sharpie?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Mr. Seller is selling the property subject to Pace Morby, close of escrow, this, all other details will be worked out at title. 1 page Sharpie, huge, very simple. The title company, now, don't get me wrong, subject to and seller finance deals are very, very important, making sure the paperwork is done right. But guess whose primary job that is? The title company, the closing attorney. They have to go through and make sure those things are done right. So if you want a contract that has been verified, written by attorneys, either go to pacemorby.com or go to talktopeople.com, and that has been alleviated. Now, even above and beyond that, this is the freaking hilarious thing. You'll run into sellers. Like I ran into a seller today. We bought a duplex in West Palm Beach, seller finance, and the lady's an attorney. Do you think she's going to want to use my contract? No, she's always going to use her contract. So she says, no problem. What title company do you want to go through? I tell her, she goes, great. I'll work out the paperwork. Don't overthink the paperwork. It's like Allen Iverson's like, practice? We're talking about practice? That's how I feel about paperwork. Jamil, how you doing, bro? You excited to go to Tampa with us 3?
I'm super excited. When do you leave, Brent?
7:40 tomorrow morning, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah. When do you leave?
I leave tomorrow at noon, but I'm on my Astro flipping coaching call from 8 to 11, so it'll be a tight turn.
Woo!
I love cutting it close.
You do.
Well, I'll pick you up. We'll get it done.
Doesn't matter. You fly first class anyway. You fly first class. You could.
He always does. I have to like yell at him. I'm all the way in the back with everybody else, all the cattle.
Pace, every time when he told me, we flew out to North Carolina to go meet with Max Maxwell like 2 years ago, and he's like, dude, I'm not flying it. I don't fly anything but first class. And I was like, yeah, that's okay, cool, man. Dude, I haven't been. That's the only way I fly, Jamil.
You guys, it
life changing.
When your butt's as big as mine,
tell me about it. Yeah,
you got to fly first class. It's just how it works. You know, I need a seat for me and I need a seat for my caboose.
That's it. Awesome.
So
there you go. You got 2 miracle deals done today. Oh, you went mute. You muted yourself.
Oh, Jake Winter says Jamil and I got 2 miracle deals done today. He is a boss. Amazing. Let's hear about that.
Man, Jake, love you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to help you sell these. Yeah, he had one deal out in God knows where, Tonopah, and mobile home out in Tonopah. It's not really easy to move. We'd actually sold it on Friday for him, but what ended up happening is, you know how buyers can get. Buyers will tell you, "Hey, I'll take it." They signed EMD. They said that they had gone and dropped off the earnest money. Of course, by the time that happened, title company was closed, and it goes to their automatic voicemail, so you can't even verify. And it wasn't until the weekend, and because it's our title company, I was able to get confirmation that the EMD wasn't deposited. So this morning, first thing, we went out, resold that one, and then got another one that was a little bit of a tighter deal. So appreciate you, Jake. Of course, never underestimate the selling power of Keegley.
1,000%, dude.
We will get it done. We will get it done. We will get it done. We will get it done.
So, Jamil, we're talking $500 getting deals for $500 or less. We got a little bit of a budget. It's not just $0 like last week. We're really ratcheting it up this week. I talked about getting a list, getting it skip traced, and getting it into a dialer and calling. And everybody wants to hear from you guys. So
yeah. So my $500 will get spent a little different. I would go to Dr. Bill's and I would download the agent list from there. It's going to have phone numbers already in it, so I don't have to pay for skip tracing. I'm going to load it into the batch dialer. I've actually been playing with the batch dialer way better than the other competitor. Holy crap, is it so good? Oh my God!
Well, I was looking for 8 months to get it.
I've kind of passed my days as a cold caller, so I don't really need to be downloading dialers very often. But I checked it out. Holy bananas!
Yeah.
Talk about user friendly. Talk about quick pace. Like this dialer was fantastic. But I would download the Dr. Bill's agent list, upload it into the batch dialer for the area that I'm in. And that's what I do. I'd call real estate agents.
Yeah.
The analogy I used last week, and I'll use it again, guys. If I want shrimp, am I going to go get a boat, go out into the ocean with my net and go shrimping by myself? Or am I going to go hang out at the shrimping docks for shrimp, right? Yeah. That's talking to agents. If I want deals, do I go and cast a net and talk to homeowners all day long, or do I talk to the realtors who represent them? It's a better, more concentrated list. That's where I'm putting my time. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I don't even need the $500.
So
I think the dialer's $100.
No, to get that list is.
I can get a free list for 100 free agents, and then that list. What do you think, Brent?
It's like 300 in a big market.
Yeah. So, I'll spend about $300 there. My dialer's $100. So I've got $100 left over. I'm gonna go have chicken wings and count my money when it comes.
But so two things, Jamil. One, did you actually do this?
I didn't do it through the Dr. Bill's list.
No, I know, but
I did it the hard way. But yes, I did this exact thing. I wouldn't change anything that I did.
And it worked for you.
I think I became a pretty successful wholesaler.
I think you became the biggest and the most successful wholesaler, as a matter of fact. But so obviously this works. Second thing is, so by the way, guys, just Google Dr. Bill's real estate agent list. It'll pop up. It's a weird address. And then the second thing is, aren't calling agents like super intimidating? Isn't that super intimidating? I mean, like, what do I talk to them about? What if they ask me questions I don't know?
Honestly, if you can have a conversation with your barber when you're getting your hair cut, if you can have a conversation with relatives, if you can have a conversation with your landscaper, you can have a conversation with a real estate agent. These are human beings. They're just people who want to be talked to like people, and truly we create in our mind an anxiety, or we create in our mind a disparity between their level of experience and our level of experience. You don't know who the person is on the other end of that call. They don't know you. You know, just talk with some conviction.
Yep.
Be convincing.
Yep. Well, they want to sell. I mean, they want to find their job is to talk to buyers and sellers all day long. So just go and start that conversation. It's still being proactive. I love it.
Also, do you know the number of crazy conversations that realtors have had with clients that have spent big money with them? Agents don't discriminate. They're not going to sit there and be like, "Oh, this person sounds strange. I'm not going to do business with them." Are you kidding me? They're talking to people from everywhere.
Chrissy just hit it. Yep.
Yeah. Just chat with me. Be a human. What's up, Chrissy? She's right. Call her up and say, "Hey, how's it going? I love your hair. You have great hair. I see your picture, Chrissy. You got great hair. I wish my wife could get them curls like that. I need a deal. What do you got?"
Yeah, 100%. Jamil's not joking. That's legit, like how the conversation goes.
Yeah. Like, we don't need to make it complicated. Christy wants to hear from me. She wants to hear from all the people who want to do business with her. That's why she's a real estate agent. In fact, I'm making her job easier for her by calling her, not having to make her call me.
Pace. Hit us with it.
I'm just looking at this chat. I'm loving the chat today, and people are asking about the Florida market. Guys, so one of my students, April Giuliano, who Jamil knows really well, she's also a TTP alumni. She's an Astro alumni. She's a Sub 2 alumni. Daniel closed my first deal for $20K, reaching out to an agent. Love it. Reaching out to an agent. Love it. A year ago, and Jamil knows this because April almost bought a Keegley franchise in Jacksonville. Within 6 months of being homeless to buying a Keegley franchise, that's how fast this lady worked. And all it came down to is just talking to people. She's in the Florida market. She finds a seller who's an attorney, by the way, seller financing 20 properties to us. And I closed the first one today. It's right on the beach. I could throw a rock at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago and hit it. That's how close it is to Mar-a-Lago. Gorgeous location, right? Unbelievable location. Seller finance, going to turn into an Airbnb. Guys, there are deals in every state, every single market. And what's crazy to me is, like, I drive around town, people are like, there's no deals. I'm like, there's houses falling apart every 80 feet. Like, WTF, why aren't you guys calling these people? What is going on? Just put in the work. That's simply it. And Brent, you were jumping into something that I really loved. You said, look, if I started with $500, here's a couple of things I would do. Cut the fat. Cut the freaking fat. I own a CRM company, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you, second one to tell you, because Brent's already told you, get rid of your CRM. If you are not doing deals, get rid of the CRM. You don't need a CRM if you are on a tight budget, okay? What I see is that most people spend all this time trying to create systems and processes, and they're hemorrhaging money and subscriptions and CRM costs and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, they're getting ready to get ready. Like, they're simply just not making the calls. Right. And I was just at Jamil's mastermind. You were there too, TTP, and Monique Walker, like, United States best freaking realtor, comes in, and Jamil probably, I don't know the exact number I remember, but it was Jamil's company made about $1 million last year from Monique, and so did she, from free relationships. Jason Jenkins closed my first deal for $50K last week, and I'm investing it back into real estate. $50K.
Amazing, Jason.
Jason, welcome to the 50K club. Welcome to the 50K club. Massive deals. Oh, God, I love this business. Isn't it so exciting to see that?
Yes.
I mean, it's just the best. Getting texts and DMs and all that, and going through here. I mean, it's real life. Oh, gosh, I love it. I love it so much.
Ronnie Fisher says, my CRM is my composition book. You remember those composition books? The black and white? Those are so good. So Kev says, how much of that $500 would you put towards marketing? My area is already loaded with bandit signs, and Craigslist is a hit or miss. So Jamil actually was the highlight. I think, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, where we talked about working with real estate agents to get deals? Was that maybe 3 weeks ago? Go back. Kev. It was such a good episode. Jamil deep dived into a lot of his relationships with real estate agents. You can go get deals from real estate agents without a single penny. So the answer is no. I already know Jamil would not spend the $500 on actual marketing, because the best marketing of all time is just opening your mouth and TTPing.
Of course. And guys, you know, I put a post today on my Instagram, and I want to just highlight the meaning behind it. There's a big difference between marketing and magnetism.
I'm pulling this up right now. You posted it today?
Yeah. Huge difference, right? Marketing is hit or miss. Marketing could work. It might not work. When you spend and you spend and you spend and you want the phone to ring, my opinion is you are hit or miss. You don't know what's going to work out. But magnetism, being somebody that is creating energy, somebody that is creating conversation, someone who people want to talk to about this stuff, somebody who is creating activity, someone who is creating a buzz, right? That's magnetism. You know what? Why does everybody want Pace on their stage? You know what? You know why people want Pace on their stage? Because he's magnetic. He's buzz. Why do people want TTP on their stage?
Because he's ripped.
He's buzzed, right? You guys, like, that's the truth. When you have magnetism, be it by your knowledge, by your personality, by your ability to just have a conversation with someone and be congenial, that is what will attract opportunity to you. Way more than spending $500. I mean, you know, it just sucks. It sucks to see so many people spend money on one little thing. They think, you know, they're going to go blow $500 on bandit signs, or they're going to go blow $500 in a radio ad or whatever it is, and nothing's going to happen. And then you're going to quit.
Jamil, I've got a good question for you. Dario Rodriguez, one of my smartest students. He is an engineer by trade, so you know he's got good questions. Jamil, do we just assign the contract used by the realtor? If so, are all purchase and sale agreement assignable nationwide?
All contracts are assignable unless otherwise stated. So, for instance, the realtor contract in California, the CAR, California Association of Realtors contract, is unassignable. So you need to strike that, and you need to write in the buyer name and or assignee. So if it doesn't speak to assignability in the contract, all contracts are assignable unless otherwise stated.
Hey, Dennis, Dennis says, can you post the episode talking to real estate agents? So Dennis and everybody else, we've got nearly 400 people watching live. Guys, do me a favor, please. If you get any sort of value, I mean, we get so many DMs on a daily and weekly basis about people saying, I made 20 grand, I made 30 grand. We got multiple deals last week where people are tagging us on their first $10,250 check. Guys, people are making like real money watching this free podcast from us. So please do us a favor. Go to iTunes, leave us a good review. Please, it does help us get more viewership. More viewership means more people to do deals with. And that ultimately comes to my question, or the question that I need to answer. Dennis, we don't need to post the episode because it's already on iTunes. You can go and watch it, or you can watch it on Brent, Jamil, or my YouTube channel.
That's
so
it.
Go check it out.
Yeah, and it's broken down, Dennis. It'll break down at the little time marks. Alejandro on our channel, and I think on your guys' as well, puts where we're discussing what. So it's easy to skip around and find that. But you'll find that in the Wholesale Hotline on any of our channels. Yep. I thought this was really interesting here. Do you guys mind if we get deep into this? Because I think this is really interesting. I think that we, Pace, you still got your 500 real quick, but I think that this is important because Born a Beast is talking about he is saved for, real quick, he is saved for 2 years to buy this triplex. All right. And he's wondering, should he buy this triplex with cash or should he get into wholesaling? I'm very curious on your guys' reaction.
Wait.
Or whatever.
Did he lock the price in 3 years ago?
No.
I don't know. Let's just say that yes.
because he'd need to know how much he was saving, right? So if you locked the price 3 years ago, Born a Beast, close on that triplex. If you did not lock in the price 3 years ago, don't close on that triplex. Not necessary. Maybe do something creative like Pace would tell you to do and go get a property to live in subject to and use the money that you have to create your business. Also, this whole home ownership thing, I mean, I created all kind of controversy when I posted that I didn't own the house I lived in until I had bought and sold 5,000 other houses that other people lived in. People were sending me hate text messages, like, you're a real estate professional telling people to rent. What's the matter with you? And, you know, again, I'm not saying – what I'm saying is I used all my money in my business. I used all my money for my business, and I paid rent. And I did that until I had enough money to own my house out free and clear. That's my strategy. That was my strategy. I don't – is that correct? I don't know. But why are you rushing into home ownership? Why aren't you rushing into financial freedom?
Well, and another thing, listen, Jamil, this is his goal. He's had this goal for 2 years. I don't understand why the word or there is not and, right?
Right.
Like, why not do both? Why not buy it? It's been your goal. I mean, how much steam do you get behind accomplishing a goal like that? I mean, that's fantastic. You know what I mean? I mean, Jamil, your goal was to have $100 million, $100 million company, and you're on your way. You know what I mean? It's just different goals, different type of place in life, right? So I think that it could be smart.
Super smart.
My biggest goal is to be in Jamil's will.
You're
Bro, he's outliving us both. He's the genie, man. He's outliving us both. So I don't think it's going to do much for us.
This whole house hacking situation where they buy a triplex or a quadplex and live in a unit, smartest way to do this. My very good friend Bobby Coleslaw out in LA, a music producer, that's how he lives. It's extremely smart. You get an FHA loan on a multifamily that basically you're living for free. Born a Beast, I think it's great. Go for it, but you should also be investing into your business.
Well, and that was the curious thing that I thought that he said he was buying it cash, but I don't know why. I mean, I get it, but you're going to have two other tenants paying your bill. So maybe, you know, the smart thing to do there is, buy it, put a nice down payment, but have them pay it off over the next, 5 or 10 years or whatever. And if you need the investment, but we're literally having a conversation of do this with less than $500. Last week, we went 90 hard minutes. It was good. I loved that show last week on how to do this for free. You know what I mean? How to just go out there and hustle it up. So I don't think that you need a tremendous amount of money in the bank to be able to do this. If you have somebody there that you can squat up that has the money, that has if you're feeling like, I can't go out there and say I'm a buyer if I don't have the money, or a partner that has the money, great. So go find that. They're in the comments. Or they're in your market somewhere. Somebody's got money. You bring a good deal to Jamil anywhere in Phoenix, he's buying it. Myself and Pace as well. So, I mean, come on. I just bought a deal in Apache Junction. Listen to this. Brand new house, not brand new, 2013 build, Jamil.
Mm-hmm.
1,300 square feet, 125.
You can't lose.
Yeah, that's
same
crazy.
one just sold 305.
Yeah, I was just going to say 300,000 minimum.
The guy, somebody in this market got a 125, sold it to me for 195. I'm going to go clean it up with 5K and make another 80, 90. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Easy.
You can't lose in that.
Buyers everywhere. We're everywhere. There's people like this in your market. There's people that just be around, bring that hustle, bring that hunger, and people will find you. I'm telling you. We didn't know. This guy reached out to Jeremy. I mean, he was just, it's great.
Michael Campbell said, is the FHA financing only for owner occupied? Yes, Michael, he's going to live in one of the units. So it's owner occupied.
Love it. So Pace, $500.
If it's me, here's my honest answer.
Yeah.
This goes back. I'm going to give you two answers. One is Pace, right? The hat wearing Pace. And then I'll take my hat off I'll be the fake Pace. The hat wearing Pace is going to just tell people right now, if I had to start with nothing, I would just say, guys, give me all your leads and I will close them. I mean, look at you guys. I post me closing sellers almost every day on my Instagram. Like it's not even light work for me, right? I get anxiety if I'm not doing it frequently. I love doing it. So for me, simply taking somebody else's stuff, like wholesaler goes to April Giuliano. April Giuliano comes to me. I close the deal. They both make an assignment fee. So Wholesale Hotline is not just about wholesaling cash deals. It's also a wholesaling creative finance deal. So that's where I would start as me. Drop me anywhere in the country. You give me a phone, game over. That's it. I'm just going to TTP the shit out of it. That's it. Open my mouth, get a deal, right? Now, if I'm starting over and I don't have a budget, all I have is $500. I already know what I'm doing. It's very simple. I'm starting Driving for Dollars. And there's a couple of reasons why.
Yep.
It's because I want to get to know my market. I want to know what's in my neighborhood. I want to know if I cross this street, what do those houses look like? I want to get to know the builders. I want to get to know the neighborhoods and the zip codes and all that kind of stuff. And even if I don't get a deal for a month or two, I'm going to have a really good understanding of my market once I do get a deal. And so Driving for Dollars for me, I think with $500, the cost of Driving for Dollars is really like maybe $250 a month. I could go 2 months just Driving for Dollars between gas and the cost of an app like BatchDriven. By the way, use Squad Up, guys. We had like 17 people sign up last week from batchdriven.com/squad up. We appreciate you guys. That actually helps us with some of the graphics and stuff like that. So thank you so much for caring about the code. It does help out with the show. Batchdriven.com/squad up. You get people that go, dude, I honestly just got a deal and my cost of the contract was like $112. It's the cheapest way. And on top of it has all these ancillary benefits of getting to know your market, and you get to know what's going on in the hood, and you run into all these other wholesalers and cash buyers as you're pulling up properties on the app. It is the cheapest, best way to start, in my personal opinion. Not starting from scratch. I think Driving for Dollars is the easiest way to do it.
Love it.
And I know TTP students, you told me this is like something like 60% of your TTP students get their first deal from Driving for Dollars.
80%.
80%.
80%.
So don't
that's across the board. I mean, that's just talking to everybody, not just TTP, but yeah, that's everybody. Driving for Dollars.
It's, you know, when you
got mine.
Yeah. I mean, I got mine walking for dollars, right? Pound for pound, when it comes to your ability to talk to, like, you want to call a niche list. Niche, there's nothing more nichey than what you get when you drive for dollars.
Yep. Love it. I want to answer this real quick for Lato. So skip trade, this is the equation you need to put together, okay? You can usually, if you're using a dialer, you can usually call through 50 addresses an hour, because typically that's about 150 calls, all right? When you get a skip trace back, when you get a list skip trace back, you usually get 3 to like 10 numbers. I would suggest you only upload the first 3, and then you go through 50 addresses. You should only be going through a list, and this is hitting on this gentleman's question right here. Sorry, Pace, we'll put that back up. How often should you put a list and recycle it? You should only go through a list 2 times, 3 if you have to, and then move on to something else. So with that, just do napkin math. 50 addresses equals 1 hour. How many hours are you going to call a week? And if you go through that list 2 to 3 times, then you know how many numbers you need to skip trace on a weekly, monthly basis, so that you can stay fresh. Because nothing's worse than calling through a list on the 4th or 5th or 6th time, talking to nobody and not getting anywhere. It's real frustrating.
You're dialing 50 people in an hour, Brent. How many people are you talking to in that
15.
hour?
You should be talking to 15. Anywhere. It just depends. I mean, it just depends. You got to make sure that you have a really clean caller ID number. So make sure that you're Googling your caller ID number every time you change it, to see if it pops up as spam likely on just Google, whatever. And keep a nice clean number. You should be 12 to 15 contacts an hour.
Awesome.
Yep.
So we've got a bunch of questions in the side about driving for dollars. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to direct those people to BatchDriven app on Instagram because a lot of these questions get answered on a daily basis. So Kevin Miller says, when driving for dollars, do you go up and knock or do you take the address and skip trace? Both, right? That's
There's
like a question of like
Oregon.
Right. So if I'm playing basketball, how do I score a bucket? Do I do a layup or do I do a dunk? Well, that just depends on how tall you are, right? So it depends on what you want to do and what your flavor is. For me personally, I like knocking doors. I enjoy it.
I like that pace. That was really good.
Yeah.
That was a good analogy. That was dope. That was really good.
So it just kind of depends on what situation you're in. For me personally, I would prefer to just go straight for the door because you're going to talk to a lot more people, right?
Yep.
And well, you're going to talk to a lot more people right now. And one thing I like about Brent is that he comes on the show. He does a quote out of a book. And one of the books that he did a quote on recently was, what is it? Swallow a Frog?
No, Eat That Frog.
Eat That Frog is the name of the book. And it talks about doing the hard things first, right? So basically, if you had to eat a frog every single day for the rest of your life, and every day you woke up, the frog had to be eaten again, the first thing you should be doing is just eat the frog right out of the gate. Right? So you eat that frog, you do the hardest thing first. And what happens is that those things just become habit and they become just part of who you are. So it's the same thing with seller calls. When you guys watch me on a seller call, you're like, how does this guy not get nervous? How does he not worry? Dude, I just have done it 20,000 hours.
Yep.
And I love it. And now is a part of me. But when I first got that call, right, I went through the TTP program too, guys. Like I didn't come out of the womb talking to people. I had to learn this stuff. I had to get over some fears too. It's part of the process, but you become good at it because you do the hard things first. So personally, knock the door. And if you don't get a hold of them, skip trace them, call them. Or in our case now, we do a lot of driving for dollars. We have our VAs call and text them.
Love it.
But if you guys want to learn driving for dollars, like day for day, that's what's cool about BatchDriven is if you guys sign up for batchdriven.com/squad up, you end up getting a little bit more support on a daily basis. Bryce on my team will actually give you guys daily support. He'll answer those questions while he's in the field driving for dollars with you live. There is
awesome.
No amount of support you don't get with that. So it's crazy. Go sign up.
And I just think it's amazing, guys. You know, Tom Kroll used to always talk about, you know, if somebody kidnapped your kids, right? And you had to get a deal in the next 48 hours, could you do it to get your kids back? People would do it. People would do it. People would fight and claw. And that's what's going through my head when it's like, do I knock or do I call? Both. Like, you got to be just like, I remember being I had that judgment on me. I owed so much money. I was like super, not this, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to do something. I need to go. I need to be in action or I'm going to just be depressed. I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be just kind of like moping around and thinking about the stupid mistakes I made and all these things. And you find the best. It's like, I don't know. I hate going through those times, but you really find out about yourself. You really do. What I found out was just nothing's going to stop me. Nothing is going to stop me. I'm going to knock on doors. I'm going to call people. I'm going to bring enthusiasm. And just going down and just doing it in the streets of Phoenix. And it's 1,000,000 degrees. And I'm just going and knocking on doors and I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling all these for sale by owner houses and everything like that. It's just, what other choice? What other choice? It's just get hungry. Just if you truly, truly, truly want this business, then it's taking action and it's just feed off that hunger. Love that journey. Love that part of the process. Then I look at it now and I'm like, wow, what a wild young man that was. You know what I mean? Wow. What character that guy really showed out there. He was going to do it. Nothing was going to stop him. And then,
imagine jumping in a time machine.
Yeah.
You jumping into time machine right now, going back to when you had that judgment in your name and saying, hey man, don't worry. In a couple of years, this is what the future looks like.
Crazy. But
you wouldn't have believed it. You'd be like, or maybe you would have, maybe that's the thing is you probably would be like, yeah, there's no doubt something good's going to happen because I got the work ethic. I don't know.
Everybody on here, you, me, Jamil, and everybody on this side has that fire in their belly. They wouldn't be watching this show time and time again, hopping on here, people recommending it if they didn't have that fire in the belly. But sometimes we dampen that fire with whatever, relationships or booze or drugs or exercise or something that just drains us all the time, and addictions or just bad mental programming and bad, kind of like hallucinating. You know what I mean? We dampen that fire and oh, it's okay. Oh, it's fine. Oh, I'm going to do something someday, but not now. It's not the right time. It's not whatever. I can't really do it. Who can really do it? Those guys, whatever. You dampen it. And that's why we come on every Monday and try to just fire this thing up and bring all the instruction, but also just squat up with people that like are doing this as well. You know what I mean? That's what pulled me out, is just being around incredible people and staying focused and just being hungry. We all have it. Everybody on this has it. Everybody. It's just go, like stop, take the plates off, take the break off, and just go, man. Just pick up the phone. I don't know.
I agree. That's it.
Check out the question on the screen from Chris Harper. You want to read that?
Chris said, "Hey, I'm an astro flipping student. Love the program. What up, bro? I got 2 signed contracts. Yeah, you do. And you're in San Antonio and you need help finding buyers. My bro, go to Keegley Dispo. Keegley Dispo's got your back. They're in San Antonio. They can absolutely help you with that. They should be in the comments, actually, if I'm not mistaken. But Keegley Dispo, do me a favor, reach out to Chris Harper and help him move those deals, baby. Let's go."
Thought is the enemy of sales. I love that. Somebody should tattoo that on their arm, dude.
That was great. I don't know. Hey, Roland, where'd you get that? That is beautiful. I love that.
It's so true. Thought is the enemy of sales, 1000%.
And this was an interesting book too. When you were talking, Jamil, earlier, it was really, the difference between this book talks about the difference between influence and manipulation. Right? What's the difference between influence and manipulation, and where does that come from, and what does it look like? This is an interesting read for all those people that see people being real super flashy out there, right? Are they manipulating or are they influencing? You better run it through that filter. And see what's real.
I haven't read that, but what I would imagine it should say is, what's the intention? What do they want? Do they want what's best for you, or do they want what's best for them?
That's it. And that's the same thing for a property seller out there. When you're talking to them, the people that come across and really care and really want to influence people to make the right decision and not manipulate them with, what's that like ninja thing that I can say that'll make people take $100,000 less on their property? Give it to me now. I'm ready. That's manipulation. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Those are the guys that end up having to stand in front of the board of real estate in their states. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You ever watch that show, American Great?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. What's the intention? I love that. Man, we are flowing today. We've already gone an hour. Woo!
There's a Keegley everywhere. Go to KeegleyDispo.com. If we're not in the market, they can help you, direct you to an astro flipping student that can help you out, whatever that is. But go to KeegleyDispo.com and you'll get an understanding of all the places we're at.
Awesome. I guess they want us to write a book, guys. So we're gonna have to figure that out.
What do you call?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
How to change and influence people? No.
Ooh, look at Aaron Evans on the show.
I think we'll call it Think and Grow Wealthy.
Ooh, I love that.
Instead of Think and Grow Rich. You get it.
I'm doing 3 deals with Keegley right now. That's so dope.
My guy. Thank you, brother. Great to hear it, bro.
That's awesome. So, guys, you don't need a tremendous budget. You really don't. And I honestly think truly, coming out, even if you have a big budget, you shouldn't be spending it. I think you need to take those. You need to get the experience. You need to start this thing raw. You got to start this thing grassroots. You got to start this thing with the intention that you're going to fund it with the return on the efforts that you're putting out there. And I think if you set it up like that, you're going to set up a really, really, really strong foundation. You know, one of the toughest things that I deal with sometimes is when people come in from another industry. They've made a ton of money in restaurants. They made a ton of money in insurance. They made a ton of money in the stock or whatever else. And they want to get into real estate. And they're like, oh, I just need to buy a team and then just start. Right. And I'm like, okay, like I understand it, but you know, are you going to buy a franchise? Because if you're not going to buy a franchise, then it's going to, you know, you're just not going to place the people in and all of a sudden it's going to work. I love this. Look at Jared. Come on.
Yeah.
So Jared Frankham, guys, is a good person to follow. He really needs to do a better job of talking about his daily life and what he's doing. But this guy does nothing. He makes 6 figures a year. He's a TTP student. Mm-hmm. He won the Wholesale Hotline giveaway last December where we did like the watch party. So he wins that. He comes out, hangs out with us. And I'm like, wait, your whole business, nothing else. Your whole business is just driving for dollars. He's, yep, in a small little town in Texas, nothing but driving for dollars, 100% of his business.
Jared's hosting my TTP support call tomorrow. That's how good he is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's gonna crush it. I'm excited for it.
Bro, we need to get him on Instagram and popping and talking about how he's driving for dollars and getting people to follow this guy because it's inspirational to know he come back from Brazil. He got his first deal back from Brazil by skateboarding for dollars.
Yep.
Skateboarding for dollars. Check it out. Kev says, bro, what? Do another giveaway. I want to chill with y'all. It was actually really dope. Did we pay for his flight?
Yeah.
I don't know if I got invoice for that. Did I chip in for that?
Don't worry about it. We're doing all right.
Jared, apparently TTP hosted you, and I just got to spend the day with you, which is great. By the way, Jared, that appointment we went to, we locked that deal up. We're going to we're assigning it to ourselves, which is an interesting concept. A lot of people don't get this, but most of the deals that we're buying here locally, we're not assigning them to anybody but ourselves because we're fixing and flipping a lot, right? But I have a fix and flip entity and I have a wholesale entity. And so I have employees in the wholesale entity that need to get paid commissions and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so we assign those deals to our fix and flip entity. We make money on them and then we double down on the fix and flip. So that deal that you went with me, Jared, will make $27,000 on an assignment to ourselves. So everybody gets paid. And then we'll make an extra $65,000 to $80,000 on the fix and flip. Good deal.
So wait a second. Why split it up? Why not just take all the profits?
Because you've got employees, right? You've got people inside of the wholesale operation that are like, yo, dude, like I'm part of the acquisition team. I'm part of the disposition team. I'm part of this stuff. And so we just keep it really clean. We keep 2 completely different sets of books. We used to do it where it was all together. But then when it came down to commission time, people would be like, well, how do we know exactly what the P&L was? And how do we know this, that, and the other? And so it was just better for us to separate the 2 entities. And also they have different expenses. In my fix and flip business, I only have 1 employee. There's very little overhead. And so the majority of it's net profit, right? Whereas in my wholesale operation, there is costs. There's acquisition people, disposition people, there's marketing, there's all that kind of stuff. So getting a good assignment fee. So I just bought a deal from myself and Prescott. Okay. So this is what we've been doing recently. We get a deal in Prescott. We go, okay, we've got buyers. So I actually went to Luke Rotvolt. So I know Luke is one of your he actually used to be your cold caller. So I went to Luke.
Cold caller in the country.
Yeah, he's awesome. So he goes, hey, we send it out at 185. He comes back and he's like, I'll do it for 170. I'm like, Luke, I know you're a great negotiator, but like, come on, dog. So he ends up coming all the way up to 185, of course. And I go, you know what, man, I'm just going to buy it for myself at 186 because like going back and forth on the negotiation, he's like, okay, no problem. Just buy it yourself. So whatever the highest price is that I think I can sell it to another wholesaler, whatever that is, I will assign it to myself to do my own fix and flip. So here in Phoenix, I'd say 9 times out of 10, we're just assigning the deals to ourselves. And then everything outside of the state, we're not fixing and flipping outside of the state. We're only fixing and flipping here. So anyway, Jared went on the buy appointment with me and we locked that deal up. We'll make 27,000 on the assignment to ourselves, plus minimum $65,000 on the upside of the fix and flip.
Jamil, with your buyer base, are you finding more and more of the people that have done wholesaling for years? They've really built up a good company. They've really done a good job. They've got some good assets. They've got some good income. Are they going more towards flips right now? Like Pace is talking about?
I mean, we're doing more flips than we ever have. You know, we're like today, for instance, I bought from 3 other wholesalers right off their list. I'm keeping all of them.
Are you flipping them? Are you keeping them? What is it?
I'm going to flip them. I'm going to fix and flip them. Also, I've got a commitment that I'm that Pace and I can't talk a lot about, but we have a certain number of houses we need to fix and flip every season. And so that has to happen as well. So just wanting to make sure we've got inventory for that.
Yeah, Matt just locked up another deal for us on Friday. Really, really good deal, Jamil, that we're going to be doing fix and flip, you and I.
Love it.
Maryville, great price, awesome brick home that we can jazz up, make it look dope.
Perfect.
I've actually got Jay Valentine right here painting my mural. He's like super pumped to be on the whole train with us, painting on every one of those houses. I don't know if he should do a mural or if he should do a painting or what.
Let's feel it out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He's so talented.
Dude, the fix and flip is bonkers right now. Like what you're going to do with that Apache Junction deal, TTP.
Yeah.
You guys are going to close on it. You're going to put in $5,000, just clean it up, maybe carpet. Are you going to do carpet and paint and then just throw it right back on the market?
Be honest, I am. If we can't make 40,000 on a wholesale deal, I'm closing it. I'm putting everything on the market.
Yeah,
I am. I'm going. It's the inventory's so low. The inventory's so low. It's bananas. 11% appreciation, right? In the last 90 days.
You know, it's funny. I bought a house out in Scottsdale that I closed on in January. I paid $508 for it. The comp was $620. So it wasn't. In fact, the reason I closed on it was a deal. Keegley brought a buyer. The buyer, played some shenanigans. Anyhow, wanted to help the seller. Seller needed it to close. And the buyer just it bailed last minute. It happens every once in a while, but we don't ever want to leave sellers in a lurch. So I closed it and I took it down myself. And my thought was, hey, I'll just fix this up and I'll get out of it, make a couple of bucks, and keep it going. So the 620 comp has been there, but on Friday of last week, a 750 model match just closed. Right, so I mean. I'm going to crush $150,000 profit on that fix and flip on accident.
Yeah. And by the way, this isn't going to go on forever, guys. We're just in a moment in time right now where all of the things are aligned. Interest rates are low, building costs are higher. The new builds, putting up new builds is taking forever. So the inventory is super, super low. People, by the way, have been, essentially quarantined in their house for, 13, 14 months, whatever it is. And so people are like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with this whole pandemic, but if it comes back around, I'm going to be in a much better house. So I need to buy something right now. At least that's what went through my head. A COVID. Hey, my 2,100 square feet. I was like, I love this. I'm living the life. I use every single square foot of this house. Look at me, not any wasted space. Oh, I'm great. COVID hit. My kids in the house.
Different story.
My God. I was like, oh, no. This is way too tight. And people are feeling that way. So all the perfect things. We're in a moment. And you just have to read those moments. And if you have the experience, or if you're watching this and you're getting it, it's in the moment. If you're thinking, well, I could make a good amount wholesaling it, but if I really took this down, it could be double. Woo, that's the call to make.
Good question on the screen right now. Luis Santiago says, I have a good question. It's a great question. He says, how can we sub to or wholesale a sub to when in the future banks increase interest rates and they might adapt a due on sale clause like they did in the 1980s. So, Lewis, there's always been a due on sale clause in every single mortgage except for VA loans. VA loans actually don't have a due on sale clause. A lot of people don't know that, but there has always been, and there will always be in the future, a due on sale clause. Now, the way you purchase the home and the way you take title is a way that you can prevent the due on sale clause. That's number one. Number two, the other way is to buy due on sale clause insurance. A lot of people don't even know that exists, but it does. There's a company called Equity Assurance. If you're a sub-2 student, I've had the owners of Equity Assurance come into the mentorship. They provide due on sale clause insurance against due on sale. Boom, conversation over. Stop worrying about due on sale clause. The boogeyman, just turn the light on. The boogeyman goes away.
Bro,
okay?
Is there any, I mean, if anybody's interested in sub-2, is there anybody else? Nobody's coaching like that. If anybody's interested in sub-2, they better go to to Pace. I mean, there's insurance for a due on sale. I mean, come on, man. He's got the owner of the company in the pro. Come on, man.
But beyond that, Brent, like the guy he buys. So how many sub-2s are you buying a month? Pace 5, 10? What are you guys picking up right now?
Between 4 and 8 a month.
I mean, that to me is the tell, right? I want to know, what are they doing? If somebody's teaching it, cool. What are you doing now? Because it changes. Things change. You know, Brent, you wholesale. You have a team. You're running. It's gonna be
our best year ever. Best year ever. It's going absolutely bananas. Best year ever. I couldn't be happier.
If you're a retired wholesaler, and you wholesaled 5 years ago, do you have a lot to say to that? I don't know.
No. I mean, you have a lot of theory. You can give a lot of theory and a lot of things that happen, but come on. You got to be in the mix. And why wouldn't you? This is the best business ever. I mean, come on.
This is my favorite comment of the day. David Golick, who's out of Long Island. He's one of my mastermind students. Jamil knows him well. Jamil and Brent actually met David.
Awesome guy.
My goal every time I talk to my students is I go, you better prepare because I'm going to melt your brains right out of your ear holes. Let's go.
Yep.
And I'd rather be overwhelming of information on recorded Zoom so they can go back and rewatch it, but it is life-changing, legacy-building type of information. It is unbelievable cool stuff. Like the condo or the duplex that I bought today in West Palm Beach, seller finance, so I didn't have to have any credit. I didn't have to have any credentials, right? So I don't have to have a W-2 job. I don't have to have tax. I don't have to show them my tax returns. I don't have to show them my bank account, proof of funds, or anything. Okay. The lady's she's a freaking real estate attorney, and I still didn't have to show any of that stuff. Okay. She's seller financing it to me. Very minimal amount of money down. I'm turning it into an Airbnb. But here's the greatest part about that purchase. This is what's going to melt a lot of brains. Am I buying that property and sitting on it into my LLC? No, I'm donating that property to my charity, and I'm getting a 100% dollar for dollar write-off for the year for a $770,000 purchase, which means now I can go make $770,000 in my wholesale or my fix and flip business tax freaking free. So guys, this stuff is life-changing, magical, amazing stuff. So now the money I save on taxes, guess what I do with it? I just go buy more properties and go buy more properties and go buy more properties, right?
Wait, is that how wealth is built?
Prius. I'll probably in 5 years upgrade from a Prius.
Who cares? You'll have I mean, you'll have a helicopter or something. You know what I mean?
Move into next to Brent Daniel. I want to live next to Jamil in Phoenix, and I want to live next to Brent Daniels in Flagstaff. That's my dream life.
Yeah, just take a flight and take your helicopter. Love it. Tampa, guys, it's going to be incredible. That's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great time.
We're all three going to be there, but Brent, unfortunately, you can't make the Saturday meetup. You've got to be back on other business on Friday.
That's right.
Do we have any updates? Because we've been asked probably about 30 times in here. Can we give them a time?
Yeah, 5:00 on Saturday. We're going to go 5 to 7. We're thinking about supplying like a taco truck and just hanging out outside. There's a couple of pavilions outside of the Grand Hyatt in Tampa. That's where we're staying. So huge, tons of big real estate investors are going to be out there in Tampa. So we're going to be doing a kind of a cool little pop-up event right outside of our hotel. So the Grand Hyatt, 5 p.m. in Tampa. Now, don't just show up to the Grand Hyatt and say, "Hey guys, where's the meetup?" Go to Jamil's Instagram, go to my Instagram. I should have details all tomorrow, but it is 5 p.m. Tampa. We are doing a pop-up event. I'm trying to get some food out there so we can vibe, enjoy the weather. It's going to go 5 to 7 p.m. in Tampa, Grand Hyatt.
Just
Awesome.
left LA, Luis. It was just there.
What were you guys doing out there, dude?
Man, just hanging out. Got a little house in the hills where my phone wouldn't work.
That makes a lot of sense. I couldn't get a hold of you.
So what do you do when the phone's off?
life.
What do you do?
Nothing.
What does that mean?
Nothing. I hang out with my wife. I hang out with my kid. We drive around. We eat. We really just chill out. We chill out. We take family time.
Is that important?
It's the most important. It's why all of this exists. You know, I really enjoy working, and I really enjoy Keegley, and I really enjoy Astro, and I love you guys, and I love everything about this business. I love all of the people that are doing this as well, and I love my family too. And so I need to show them that I love them as much as I love the business and the people and all of this. And I can only do that by giving them attention. And so every once in a while, I have to do that.
Yep. Love it.
So can I do a shameless plug for my sub 2 mentorship real quick?
Let's
Yes.
go.
So just recently, because you guys, I'm a little bit crazy. I just added this thing called Nick at Night inside my mentorship. Okay. So we're all old enough to remember Nick at Night, right?
Yeah.
So Nick Newling on my team, he's been with me for over a year. All he does every day is he is live and available to call sellers for my sub 2 students. And here we are, Darren Talcott, working with Nick to close on a rental in Tampa for you guys, Pace. Looks like I'm going to be buying a deal in Tampa, hoping to have it done so you can see it. That would be amazing. Jamil and I would love to swing by. If Brent is still in town, he would love to swing by as well. But if you're in the sub 2 mentorship, just FYI, this is newer and not everybody gets the emails or not everybody checks the emails, and they'll find out new things that I've just recently added or upgraded or whatever. They go, how did I not know about this? I'm letting you know right now. If you are in the sub 2 mentorship, 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, Nick Newling on my team is calling your sellers every single day for 4 straight hours, 2 o'clock to 6 p.m. every day. In fact, he's doing it. He was doing it live up until 17 minutes ago.
So how does that work? They send in the leads and then Nick just calls them?
Yep. So what we do is I have a girl named Caroline. She's unbelievable. A lot of you guys know Caroline.
Yeah.
She sets
Caroline's
up
a TTPer. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she is. She is a TTPer. Yeah. So Caroline is a TTPer. She's amazing. When I knew her, when I saw her, she joined my program. She immediately sends me this deal. I go, man, you did such a great job. She's like, oh yeah, I'm a TTP student. Right. She just teed it up really, really well. So I ended up hiring her. She's amazing. What she does is she creates a Google sheet every day, and then my students come in and fill it in every 20 minutes. There's a new seller, and Nick just goes through and calls sellers every 20 minutes and either pushes conversations forward or closes deals up. So Darren Talcott is a student that's been having a hard time getting his first deal. So I implement, I'm like, all right, maybe there's students that are just a little bit shy. So get me on the phone with your sellers. Let's freaking force. It's kind of like Tom Kroll says. He says, it's not just about forcing a horse to the water. It's forcing the water down the horse's mouth. And so that's something that we've started implementing, is saying, you know what, we're going to freaking make sure you get a deal. And so Nick at Night, 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock every single night, we are calling your sellers inside the mentorship.
Love it. How do people find your mentorship?
They don't. It's Fight Club. We can't talk about it. First rule of Fight Club is you can't talk about Fight Club. No, you guys can go to sub2.com. The problem is I think there's 17 areas that are currently sold out. So go to sub2.com, schedule a call and see if your area is even open to jump in. We had a crazy year. You guys can imagine with the pandemic and people having a hard time find it. You guys want to hear something crazy? Can I give you guys some earth shattering information real quick?
Yep.
So recently, I have a lender, really, really high level lender. He comes to me, goes, yo, dude, some news just came down the pipe for some new regulation on secondary homes and investment homes. Okay. As far as lending goes. So check this out. Say goodbye to the burst strategy. Let's check it out. Little screen share action right here. Check out this article, guys. New rule means higher fees for investment property and second homes. So if you take a look at this, check this out. New rule states how much higher? Well, you're going to have to pay 2.25% of the loan amount on all 9 non-primary resident applications, even those with a down payment of 25% or more. So let's say I'm buying a rental property of $200,000. Guess what? I got to come up with another $5,000 up front, or I can add it to my rate on my mortgage. It would be 2%.
Wow.
They will add 2% if you can't afford the fee. If you cannot afford the fee, they're going to add it to your interest rate. You'll go from a 3% interest rate to a 5% interest. It's effective right now. Right now, it's effective. It's not going to happen. It is happening right now. So you tell me.
Can you pull that up real quick, Pace? I want to see what it said because of the risk. It's saying is this just they're just oh man?
Oh, they're just hemorrhaging people, dude.
Wow,
they're just hemorrhaging people.
Oh my gosh, who passed this? This is terrible.
Little Biden administration situation. They snuck it through.
No.
Everybody in the comments, I will give you the link to the article. This is groundbreaking stuff. So if you're a burst strategy person, this hurts. This hurts big time. Go read this entire article. It's horrible news for people that are buying.
Go to the very top. It said something about risk. I was trying to read it, but right there it says some lenders. Oh no, that's not it. Go up. The 2.2%. That's it. The new rule puts extra risk on lenders because they could be left with loans nobody wants to buy. Wow. Okay. Go up. Freddie won't be allowed to buy them once they hit that 7% cap. Wow. Okay.
This is game-changing stuff. So do you think sub 2 and seller finance is pertinent right now?
Yep.
Because I don't have to worry about any of these fees when I'm buying sub 2 and seller finance. So if I'm somebody even wholesaling a deal to a cash or like a buy and holder, like a Zach Keeps, every time Zach Keeps goes and buys a long-term rental property, he's got to come up with 2.25% up front above and beyond what he's been used to for the last 15 years of doing real estate. And if he doesn't want to pay that fee, then they give him the option of adding 2% to his interest rate to cover the cost.
Nuts.
Insane. And nobody's talking about it yet because it got snuck through. Not a lot of people know about it. So my lender, who's like top 2% in the nation, Brian Gething, sends me this article. He's like, yo, dude, like sub 2 and seller finance for the win. This is going to be like a windfall of people having to learn how to get creative because there's no way that your burst strategy buyers are going to be able to afford these fees. The government's trying to hemorrhage people. And so essentially, you just got to figure out how to work around the system, and you just use creative finance and work around the whole entire thing. You now buy things on seller finance, you buy things on sub 2, you buy things on lease options. But even then, right? Even then, if you buy on a lease option, you still have to go forward and refinance at some point. And that's why I'm not a big fan of acquiring a lease option. I'd rather just secure the deed right up front.
For
Give me
sure.
the bag right now.
Yep.
It's game changing. It's a game changing situation for people that are trying to build their portfolio. Where's that money go? Government, more government stuff.
Now, is that only with federal backed loan? I mean, is that going to affect private lenders?
No, not private lenders, just anything that is conventional or FHA or VA, all of those. But if I'm a private lender and I'm lending money to somebody individually, that is not imposed on a private lender.
Got it.
But dude, like how many freaking burst strategy users are there? Millions of people are using the burst strategy right now. and they're going out and refinancing. They're getting a hard money loan up front. They're going down 6 months later and refinancing out. They got to freaking get another 2.25% points up front or pay 2% higher interest rate.
It seems like creative is way more powerful, just like that beautiful beard of yours, Pace.
Oh yeah, dude, it's growing out. I'm going to grow it out for a whole another week. I'm going to see if somebody just thinks I'm homeless at some point.
I love it. Wow, that is great. That is great. We should add more stuff like this to the show. You know, some current events, some stuff like that. Not always, you know, nothing like that. I mean, things like this don't happen all the time, but wow, that is really gross. So really interesting. You know, not surprised, but
yeah, I mean,
really
it came to a surprise to me because I'm a member of like 5 or 6 different, news services every morning, and I read through them. I'll listen to people's podcasts and YouTubes and all that stuff, and none of this was on anybody's radar. My buddy sends it to me. He's like, "Yo, people are going to start talking about this in the next 2 or 3 weeks as people start realizing." As they're like, if you haven't locked in a loan back in February, like with your interest rate, this is how he figured it out. So he has a client that was refinancing out with a burst strategy.
Yeah.
So his client's like, no, I'm going to wait a couple of days, maybe even a week, and to see if my rate goes down before I lock it in. So he waits a week. They go to lock it in. Boom, new rules in place. The lender didn't even know. He goes to his boss. They're like, yeah, we have to add this fee nationwide. Every lender is adding this fee now. It's a requirement. And your guy just screwed himself because he was trying to get a 0.0001% lower rate.
Well, and the sneaky part is they'll add it to the back of your loan. So it'll be like, oh, it's no big deal, right? It's no big deal. You don't have to pay it up front. We can just roll it into the loan. What?
Yeah, actually, no, you can't. So the 2.25%, you cannot roll it into the loan. If you can't pay the fee up front, then that's when they impose the 2% higher interest rate. That's how they blow it into the loan.
So if you can't pay that up front, they're going to ding you for 2% over the life of your loan?
Yes.
So you're going to pay what? What is
way
it?
More.
Well, think about that. Most commercial loans are at 4.5% to 6.5%.
Come on.
So now you're at like the 7%, 8% interest rate for a burst strategy loan. It just doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, I'm picking up deals all over the place at 2%, 3% interest or sub 2.
Yep.
It is a game changer. I'm actually like one of the ads that I'm going to be filming soon, Jamil, and I'm going to need some help on this for the flow of the ad is actually calling this out. And I want to call out burst strategy buyers and say, hey, like what you don't know is going to hurt you in a big way. You have to get creative. It is no longer getting creative is no longer cool. It is now a requirement if you're going to build a portfolio. Game changer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, listen, banks always win, man. That's bank. Be the bank, man.
Be the bank. 100%. Be the bank.
So a lot of guys and gals in the chat have been asking about if we're going to comp today. We're out of time, but just so you guys are aware, I do a weekly comping show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific on my YouTube channel. Come bring the property there. This Wednesday we'll be in where will we be? We're going to be in Tampa, but I'm going to disappear for straight out of comping. So I can come, I'm going to go to the room, comp for an hour, and come back to the mastermind just to make sure that we get that in. So guys, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, go to my YouTube channel. It's just Jamil Damji on YouTube, and subscribe and bring your property to the comping show this Wednesday, 2 p.m.
Awesome.
EST.
Pace, when do you go live also on your channel?
I go live on Sunday evening, Sunday service. Last night we had like 500 people watching live. It was all about last night was all about tax depreciation, all the mind melting fun stuff. I just told people that if you're not buying a rental property every 5 or 6 wholesale deals, like Brent says it so well. He says wholesaling is the key, right? It is the foundation. It is the gateway to getting into financial freedom. And he's right. Yep. You have to get into this and you have to be able to wholesale so that you can start plucking deals here and there. So we talked about depreciation every Sunday service, 7 p.m. It is not religious. So don't be afraid. I'm going to be like praying and all that kind of stuff. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to wholesale a subject to, how to get a subject to under contract and wholesale it so you don't have to worry about holding a property if you're just too new to the game.
Love it. And I'm live every Wednesday, not this Wednesday. We're going to be gone and I'm not going to be in my studio. And I'm like, oh, I need to be in my studio to go live in my show. Anyway, next Wednesday, we will be live. It's live at 10 o'clock Arizona time or Pacific Standard Time, and bring on incredible guests like these guys. And we talk about real estate investing and really simplifying it and really breaking it down and answering questions and have just an incredible time. So I'd want everybody here to join me on that. It is just great. Go back, go check it out. If you guys are feeling it, you're like, wow, what is going on with these guys for the first time? Go into our channels, go see what we're all about. Go see it broken down into digestible pieces. Get the information that you need. There's literally no excuse to not take action. Every single step of this process of wholesaling real estate is broken down. And you can get it. You can get it for free. You can get access right there. You got all the tools at talktopeople.com. You got incredible opportunity to squat up with all of the Keegley franchises around the country to help you sell your deals or comp your deals if you need to in each market. And then you've got Pace, who's got everything creative that you could ever want. So take advantage of it. There's no excuse that there's not enough education, instruction, entertainment, all those three things, we're bringing it to you. So make sure that you get into our worlds, because I'm telling you, once you come into our worlds, you win. That's just the fact. And I'll be cocky about it because it's the bold truth. So you want to win faster, get into our worlds. So there you go.
Last thing, guys, real quick. Please, we have on nearly 400 people. Please, I just dropped the iTunes link. Click on that link. Leave us a good review. We only have 122 5-star reviews. With 400 people on here, guys, we could get 80 reviews tonight. Easy. If 20% of the people went over there, just 20%. So are you one of those people who are going to be grateful for all the guests that we've brought on and all the extra time and energy? Or are you going to be somebody's like, somebody else will do it? Don't be the person that says, somebody else will leave the review. Please click on the link, leave us a review. It really does mean a lot for us. So
a lot.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Love you guys. See you next week.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.